I want to take the steering wheel and go a little bit of a turn left. And you mentioned there about resilience being like really important alongside well-being. Now, you have had many challenges in your life and career, from 97 tour and being knocked out, swallowing your tongue, and that being a near-death experience, to 2002 and losing your first son, Freddie, prematurely born and losing him early. What I know, every incident has its own nuances and differences. What have you learned about yourself over time, and perhaps use as coping mechanisms that you draw upon? So the challenges that you face on a daily basis, what are some of the, I know that everything's nuanced and there's different strategies, but if there was something that you've learned about yourself in the way you cope best, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean that's such a vast canvas of a question.
Yeah, I recognise that.
No, I'm trying to work out what best way to go about it. I think some of my closest would go, he hasn't coped, he didn't cope, he really struggled. And that's the truth. But if you are then going to work and you are presenting on the telly, or you're doing a keynote speech, or you're a chief customer officer and you're trying to bring in business, I've learned now that it's okay to contextualize and actually to be upfront and say, this is what's going on behind the camera now. But the reality is, in the front-facing roles you have, you've got to stick a mask on. Can't every time I turn up at Twickenham or whatever on Saturday, whilst we're going through those tough periods, and just go, especially as a player, oh, All Blacks, can you give me just a bit of time here because I'm having a tough time? Or you're on the TV on a Saturday and you've just discovered something, like everyone does, by the way. We all have, everyone has crosses to bear. We are very fortunate with our ability to be able to cope with it collectively. So the reality is, I haven't and didn't cope with any of those things as well as people maybe think. But the sort of show must go on mentality and the role I had, or the profession I had, meant that's just, you got to get on with it. Then privately, I think the best way to describe it is you got to have a circle of trust. You got to have a group of people, and mine are mainly my university mates, who at any stage, it's a psychological safety. But it's also not ruinous empathy. I know you've got to have a group of people around who'll call you on shit. Have the ability to understand that we're all doing this for the long-term good, or how we perceive it to be. And I think you're acting out of line, or I think it's now time to go back to work, or to address the situation. I think it's a collective thing that is my lesson on it, is that who are the people. And you might have different groups for different parts of you. You might have a home group who are your mates from uni. You might have a work group. You don't have to be from your own organisation. Just this is a tough decision now. And everyone's trying to reinvent the wheel themselves. And actually, if you can go to someone who's tighten at it and pick up a phone and say, I just need 5 minutes, and get that sort of relationship where it's not just ask the whole time. So I hope I'm answering a little bit of the question. That sort of collective body system that might be very different for the problem that you are facing is critical for us all to have, because I think if you try and do it all on your own and in your own noggin, you literally could those sorts of things can drive you insane.
I think you've nailed it with the fact that you said you well, a lot of people will give an answer around that of saying like, go and talk to people. And yes, talk to people. That's the sort of overarching message you're sending there. But one thing that's I have found really impactful for me, whether it's from anything from dealing with retirement to dealing with an injury to dealing with a relationship, whatever it might be, the accountability from someone that you know to actually hold you account to say, no, hold on, why not? You can think like this, or perhaps you're maybe misinterpreting that thought, that feeling, that emotion, and maybe look this way. And sometimes, because you go to people hoping they're going to tell you the thing that you want to hear, that you just want to feel good, but to have that person to call you on it, those are valuable people. Like, they're super valuable people, and I think you've nailed it by saying that. So thank you for sharing that.